take action to detain and deport foreign students across the country. Our chief investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky has the latest. Good morning, Aaron.
Chad, did Hassan cover the anti-Hamas protests? I'm interested to hear his take, but can't see. Yes, I did. 2 days in a row after they happened.
And good morning to you, Lindsay. This is raising alarms on campuses across the country, but the Trump administration is signaling it's only the beginning. This morning, the Trump administration is targeting a half-dozen international students as part of a crackdown on pro-Palestinian campus activism. The latest, Alireza Daroudi, an Iranian graduate student at the University of Alabama. The Department of Homeland Security saying this individual posed significant national security concerns, though his attorney told ABC News he knows of none, and said Daroudi is pursuing a doctorate in mechanical engineering. His detention followed this arrest of Tufts University doctoral student Rumeysa Öztürk. Federal agents in hoodies and masks surrounding the Turkish national, placing her in handcuffs and leading her away. This morning, she's in an immigration detention facility in Louisiana after being accused of engaging in activities in support of Hamas. Öztürk, a Fulbright scholar, co-wrote this op-ed criticizing Tufts for failing to recognize Palestinian genocide. Hamas is not mentioned.
She makes sure that she doesn't offend anyone, let alone, possibly incite violence. She is not that person. She's not aggressive.
No criminal charges have been filed against any of the detained students. Their right to free speech is protected, but the administration says their right to be in the country is not.
Every time I find one of these lunatics, I take away their visa.
The courts have not weighed in on the administration's approach, which experts say is unprecedented.
I have not seen before the kinds of aggressive tactics ICE is now taking to apprehend students in their dormitories on campus or near campus for immigration enforcement types of actions.
And later this morning, Rebecca, a judge in Newark, New Jersey, is going to take up the case of detained Columbia University graduate Mahmoud Khalil, whose lawyers say is being held unlawfully. The administration says Khalil poses a risk to foreign policy because of his organization of protests against Israel. Rebecca.
All right, Aaron, thank you.
So you got all these people coming to the country, taking away scholarships, different activities for Americans, but they're going on these college campuses and they're protesting. We see linkages to Hamas. We see linkages.
Yeah, totally. I tweeted about this earlier, by the way, and predictably every stupid person with a blue check mark responded with just incorrect information, I guess. But it bears repeating, and I will continue saying this until I guess the laws are changed, and I hope they don't change, for the record. But I said, something that gets brought up in conversation about ICE kidnapping students for not being pro-Israel enough is the government falsely claiming they support Hamas. And I want to make something very clear. Supporting Hamas is not a deportable offense. It absolutely falls under First Amendment protections. Okay? The bar for deportation or the revocation of your student visa or the revocation of your legal permanent residency status is infinitely higher than I don't like what you have to say. That is precisely why there is currently a legal battle taking place. And I don't know why. I mean, I do know why so many people just refuse to recognize this reality. But there were so many people. They're here on visas, bro. No country would allow them to do what they're doing on a visa. This country does. It's in the Constitution, is what I responded with. They're here on visas, bro. They're here on visas. It's it doesn't matter. And one of the funniest ones was a dude trying to duke it out with Grok in my replies, and I'm trying to find it really quickly. I don't know if I can find it, but it was just a guy who kept asking Grok if what I was saying was true, and then Grok being yes, what he is saying is true. And he just kept being well, do they have... does the First Amendment extend to non-citizens? And the Grok was yes, it does extend to non-citizens. He's well, what if these non-citizens are pro-Hamas? Oh, here it is. This is the funniest thing. Like, first of all, I think I'm sorry, but if you're one of these guys that's like constantly asking ChatGPT or Grok what the answer is, I really have an unfavorable opinion of you. I'm going to be as gentle and as polite as possible. Just fucking Google it on your own, okay? If you're constantly asking a chatbot what to think, I'm sorry, you are dumber than the dumbest human being. You have officially become like dumber than the average person because you're like, I'm going to ask a fucking machine what to think. You're letting a machine that quite literally lies, and it's called hallucinations, okay? And it's not its own fault. It's just, that's just what the AI is. What's the difference between asking ChatGPT and Google? The difference is you're so fucking lazy that you want that shit to be soft served to you. That's the difference. Asking Google is already easier than going to the library and doing a lot of reading and doing the research yourself if you choose to see fit. But asking ChatGPT, on the other hand, is unironically dumber than Google. And Google has its own fucking AI tool as well, which I also despise. It's wrong. It's wrong. It has the capacity to hallucinate. Okay? You have to rely on critical thinking skills. You have to keep using your brain. I know it sounds insane that I'm saying this, but like, please. But it's additionally, you are the lowest form of human is basically, to me, this is the equivalent of asking your toaster what to do. Okay? Oh man, I have a real big decision ahead of myself, toaster. What do I do? Toaster doesn't respond, but you're like, but please respond to me, toaster. Like, this is so dumb. In any case, at Grok, does sympathizing with Hamas fall under First Amendment? Expressing sympathy for Hamas is generally protected under the First Amendment as free speech, provided it doesn't involve material support, e.g. money, training, or incitement to violence. Legal cases like Holder v. Humanitarian Law Project distinguish protected advocacy from unprotected actions. Despite Hamas's terrorist designation, independent speech remains safeguarded, though the issue sparks debate over security versus rights. Does this include green card holders? Green card holders likely have a First Amendment right to express sympathy for Hamas without criminal punishment, unless it involves material support for or incitement. However, they face potential deportation risk under immigration law, unlike U.S. citizens who are fully protected. Recent cases like Mahmoud Khalil's arrest highlight this disparity, with debates ongoing about free speech versus national security. This answer isn't very clear. Do they or don't they have First Amendment rights? Is deporting them legal or illegal? If they're deported, on what legal grounds are they deported? Green card holders have First Amendment rights, but these may not prevent deportation under immigration law. Deporting them for speech is legal if tied to security risks like supporting terrorism, though it's debated. Grounds typically fall under INA, e.g. aiding groups like Hamas. He just like, how are you getting owned by an artificial chatbot? You could have spared yourself this embarrassing moment. You didn't mention what kinds of support in your original tweet. Supporting Hamas is not a deportable offense. It absolutely falls under, we're talking about ICE kidnapping students for not being pro-Israel enough. Of course, I'm not talking about offering material support to Hamas. Okay? You can't do that. Unless you're offering material support to the IRA, in which case you can do that, and it's a favorite American pastime. One of the few instances where at least a lot of Americans were on the right side of one fucking conflict and did not align with the colonial entity there. I want to make this very clear, okay? It is already super illegal to do those things. And it's also virtually impossible to do those things. There is no way that you can offer material support to Hamas. You can't send them weapons. You can't send them bombs. You can't send them money. Okay? That's not a thing you can do. It is impossible. Unless you fucking figured out like a cryptocurrency wallet or something, in which case it's still very much illegal, and the government most likely will prosecute you to the full extent of the law. Yes. saying with your words that you support Hamas, even if you were to say that, is not illegal. No matter how much it hurts your fucking feelings, no matter how much it makes you scared. It makes you scared. Okay? Saying you support the Ansar Allah movement or the Houthis or the fucking Iranian state is not illegal, no matter how much you want it to be.
To other foreign governments as well. Marco Rubio has made the commitment that he's going to revoke their visa. He said that he's already revoked 300 plus visas. Here's the Secretary of State.
It might be more than 300 at this point. We do it every day. Every time I find one of these lunatics, I take away their visa.
You're saying it could be more than 300
sure,
visas?
I hope. At some point, I hope we run out because we've gotten rid of all of them. But we're looking every day for these lunatics.
Right, and so everyone thinks Mahmoud Khalil. But when Mahmoud Khalil was tossed, the word came out to these Palestinian organizations linked to Hamas or not, that the Americans are not going to tolerate the campus unrest, the takeover of buildings. What we see.
Yeah, notice how he's saying whether they support Hamas or not. Like, they're not even hiding it, too. It's not like they're fucking hiding it. Like, they're pretty open about it. They're saying, it doesn't even matter if you support Hamas or not. You can't be disruptive on campus. A direct violation of the First Amendment. Even a support for Hamas in and of itself. Supporting Hamas is not a punishable offense. This is ridiculous. Just like supporting Israel, which is an infinitely worse force in the region than Hamas ever could be, is not a violation that causes you to get deported. Hasman says you're wrong. I know. That doesn't mean what you think it means. If you had any fucking brain cells, you would understand that isn't the argument that you think it is. As Asmongold says you're wrong is such a funny statement in and of itself. It's like, okay. It's like saying, oh yeah, my dad with a fucking high school education thinks you're wrong. And before you say Asmon went to college, doesn't matter. He's LARPing as a person who is a dumbass in an effort to cultivate a fan base of dumbasses. Yeah. He also thinks the real severe violation of free speech is when titties are small in video games. Not exactly, the sharpest fucking tool in the tool shed. Even though he is actually a lot smarter than he presents himself as. He's just LARPing.
Saw it almost every Ivy League institution outside Princeton. Well, I didn't really see much there. Now, not only is the campus is going to, the college is going to lose money, but they're going to lose people. Now, yesterday we found out that we had one person self-deport from Colombia after Khalil was tossed out, and she sat down in Canada with Al Jazeera to talk about what she thought, why she left.
Oh, what a great home for her. What did she say, Rachel?
She said the moment Mahmoud got arrested, it sent shockwaves across Colombia's community. He is a green card holder. That's when I realized I have no rights in this system at all. It was only a matter of time before they caught hold of me.
Exactly.
Rachel, this has inspired some disagreement between us. We normally agree on 90% of the issues, but you're worried about free speech.
I'm not. So first of all, I would never be a student in, say, Mexico City and go and protest their government. I'm just not interested. I think that's just rude, and you're not being a good guest, so I'm with that. I also don't believe in violence. You know, I'm a peacenik.
Yeah.
I don't think we should have violence, and I don't believe in terrorists. I don't want anyone here who has ties to Hamas. That said, I am concerned about free speech. I am a free speech absolutist. And so I wonder, what is the criteria here? Should we be deporting people who say criticize America and American policies? What's the line? Or is it only if you criticize Israeli government policy? So there are a lot of really good people right now who are very concerned about the chilling effect this could have.
That's crazy to hear from fucking Fox News, dude. Hey, don't say that. Don't say that. He's gonna nut. He's getting so close. He's getting so fucking close. It's like, what did you say? Did you say deporting people that are anti-America? Oh, yeah. Most people at Fox News 100% want that, by the way.
Not just on these green card holders and these people on visas, but what's the message to American citizens about free speech?
I wouldn't worry about American citizens. I mean, it's not American citizens. These are people on student visas and green cards.
No, I'm just saying the chilling effect. If you're seeing people,
I don't care. I mean,
are they connected to Hamas or are they just criticizing Israeli policy?
The lawyer I talked to this week, who's representing 9 families, says there's direct linkages to Hamas that they posted this group October 6th. Get ready for October.
Dude, I can't believe they're saying that. I can't believe they're unironically going along with that fucking stupid ass lawsuit, dude. I cannot. I mean, the well of depravity is endless for criminal support for Israel. But god damn, dude, that one is like a particularly schizophrenic lawsuit. Like that one is so crazy. Like, yeah, dude, the fucking Columbia Students for Justice in Palestine are linked up directly with Hamas. There's a new lawsuit that was presented by a dude who was literally, or a lady, I don't know, but a person who was an Israeli who was kidnapped by Hamas and came back and basically said, Hamas, when I was being held captive, Hamas told me that they were directly in contact with fucking Columbia students. And their proof for it, is that the Columbia SJP account that was dormant over summer break was no longer dormant on October 7. Before October 7 happened. Okay, and not because like school was back in session, but because the implication is that they knew, yeah. In the tunnels of Gaza in early October, Yahya Sinwar, all right, this operation must be of utmost secrecy. Iran can't know. Hezbollah can't know. Even Haniya can't know. Abu Ubaidah, can we at least tell Columbia SJP? Sinwar, okay, fine, as long as they promise to keep quiet. And they're lying about when the fucking thing was published. They didn't even publish it, 3 minutes before the attack. They published it fucking on October 5th, 2023, because they had gotten back to school. One of the most psychotic things I've ever seen.
7th. So there's no doubt about it. There's organizations here. There's also the hostages were saying that the Hamas hostage holders were bragging to them about their access to American students, the students in America, and that they were going to win the power of basically the publicity and marketing. They also tossed out somebody at Tufts University, caught this PhD student. They also got threw out yesterday at Harvard. They threw out Kasina Petrova, who's a Russian research associate, also with anti-American activity. You're over here, you're protesting this country and our allies. Goodbye.
I would just say this, Rachel. I see your point. I see how it could be chilling. But I want chills to run down the spines of not only terrorists, but people that are residents here. You're a visitor here. You don't have the right, be on your best behavior here. And what we're dealing with is people that don't love the country, people that have radical ties, and I think they're trying to use our laws against us at the time. So I think what the Secretary of State is saying, look, I want to find visa violations. Many of these people have ties to foreign governments. They're trying to have dissent. They're trying to get us to be at each other's necks at each other's necks as well. And so you have to send a message to the people that are visitors. Don't come in my house and spray paint on my wall.
Take over Hamilton Hall.
Look, we have to deal with
I agree with that.
We have the American citizens that are degenerates. We have to deal with them. That is a part of our society. We don't have to deal with the visitors that are here. And I think that's what the Secretary of State is doing.
When I was a child in a military brat growing up, I lived overseas almost exclusively. And when we went to I attended Department of Defense schools, and we had to take a class called Host Nation class. Yeah. Where we learned.
Yeah, except if you took that class as a fucking foreign student in the United States of America, the class would tell you that you are well within your rights to literally, through speech and through protest, unironically defend any fucking group you want to. It is a fundamental, it's the first one. It's the first right. The fuck do you mean?
Learned about the host nation, and we learned how to be a guest, a proper guest in people's country. That is my primary concern with this. And the other concern I have is the thing you touched on, but which needs more attention to, which is the fact that our universities are prioritizing foreign students because they pay full rate tuition. And a lot of these slots belong to American kids. How many valedictorians aren't getting into these elite schools?
All of them.
Because
if they're white.
If they're white males. This is something, America is for Americans.
That's right.
And we need to prioritize that. So I think there's a lot to be said. Yeah. But let's also be careful, because we don't want to leave the impression on the world that we are not for free speech.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And
What do you mean? What do you fucking mean? You are that, though. You are anti-free speech. Like, it's too late. You know?
And right off the top, another round of executive orders from President Donald Trump. He signed 3 orders yesterday. One of them is to end collective bargaining at agencies involved with national security. Another is meant to remove, quote, improper ideology from the Smithsonian Institution.